partner Jack. Together they stand proud over the local landscape. But where am I?
Today, a couple who crave quiet in the countryside, away from the noise of next door. At one of our properties, the neighbours are the least of our worries.
We're not really great fans of brick. There's going to be a lot of vacuuming I'll have to do.
But at another house, we get it right.
Oh, this is lovely.
I think this has got almost everything we want.
Today we're in West Sussex and I'm in the village of Clayton in the heart of the South Downs National Park. The village's two windmills are thought to have been named Jack and Jill by day trippers to Brighton in the 1920s. Today, only Jill here is a working mill, lovingly cared for by a group of dedicated volunteers who've been meeting here every Saturday since 1978. Thanks to their hard work, Jill has been fully restored and occasionally, when the wind blows, is used to grind locally grown wheat to make wholemeal flour, providing us with just a taste of what this county has to offer.
West Sussex lies in the heart of the southeast, tucked in between the English Channel and the counties of Hampshire, Surrey and East Sussex. Despite being just a short hop from the capital, parts of the county feel like a step back in time, with historic architectural delights and quiet country lanes aplenty. In the east, the rolling hills of the Weald, once an ancient forest, are interrupted by the Ouse Valley Viaduct, one of the country's finest, an imposing example of Victorian engineering. Stretching across the county from east to west is the South Downs National Park, which became a protected area in 2011. These chalk hills are considered one of the most important rural landscapes in southern England. Nearby, the charming market town of Argyll boasts a beautifully preserved castle which dates back to the 11th century. Today, it makes an impressive sight, towering above the banks of the River Arun. With its easy access to both the coast and capital, West Sussex is a much sought-after county for those after a not too remote slice of rural England.
But property buyers beware. With its proximity to the capital and unspoilt countryside, houses in West Sussex don't come cheap. In fact, the average price of a detached property here is about 45% more than the national average and would cost you around £400,000. Commuter territory always comes at a premium, but prices are more reasonable the further south you go, away from the capital, apart from the coast, of course. So what are today's buyers hoping to find in this beautiful county? Well, let's meet them and find out.
Ben and Kim have been married for almost 40 years and live in the Surrey town of Hawley. For the last 2 decades, the family home has been this 4-bedroom detached house. But with 2 grown-up children having flown the nest, they're not only looking to downsize, but to find a quieter setting away from the town Ben has lived in most of his life.
And I've lived here for probably about 50 years now. When I moved here, it was fantastic. It was like countryside. We used to go over to the river where there's lots of fields. It was great fun.
It was a village, wasn't it?
It was a little village, yeah.
Now there's a lot more housing, but they haven't sort of improved the town to cope with it, really. And the roads got very busy now. We like peace and quiet.
Ben has worked in IT for 40 years and Kim is a school secretary. They're not giving up their jobs or their friends, so they've set their sights south on the neighbouring county of West Sussex.
We'd really like to move to West Sussex. We've got friends in that area.
We would really like to be kind of within 25 miles radius of Horsham, because then we could carry on visiting our friends. We do see them quite a lot, you know, they come over for dinner, and if we're too far away, they take that away from us, you know. We really do enjoy that type of thing.
As well as entertaining, Ben and Kim hope to add to the family.
What draws us really to the country life is the peace and quiet, and the fact that, you know, when Kim gets her dog, finally gets her dog, which I promised her when we move, she'll just be able to walk out the house, down the country lane, there won't be traffic, you know, zooming past us all the time, be able to let it off the lead and off it'll go.
When they're not walking their new dog, Ben wants to hit the West Sussex roads in his classic car.
The MG Midget that I've got in the garage, Kim and I bought that in 1979, and all through our married life she's been saying, we've got to sell that car to pay for something, but somehow I've managed to hang on to it, and when we get into the countryside I'm going to get it back on the road, drive it out to the little country pub, with the hood down. I might even take Kim with me as well if she's lucky.
But it sounds like Kim will be more than occupied with her new garden.
We'd like to have a smaller garden, not too small because I do enjoy gardening and I get very carried away at the garden centre buying plants and shrubs and trees, but something that would be a bit easier to manage, hopefully with room for a small greenhouse.
And after a busy day outside, what better way to relax than in front of the fire?
I don't know why, I've always loved wood burners and everything that goes with them. It'd be really, really cold and we'll light up the wood burner and get in front of it, nice glass of red wine or white wine, Kim prefers, and get some music on and just, you know, you just can't beat it.
We really want to be able to either have a wood burner in the new house or certainly be able to put one in if possible.
But although our buyers clearly yearn for rural rapture, the sociable couple have some fears about being too cut off from the rest of the world.
I think our main concern if we move too far was we'd be moving away from our friends.
We know we've got to do it, we've got to get away, but you know, when you're so familiar with something, it's just going to be, it is going to be a big shock, but we desperately want to do it. You know, if we don't do it now, Kim keeps saying to me, well, why don't we wait until we go into an old people's home? I say, no, that will be after this move, so we've got to do it now.
Ben and Kim want us to concentrate our property search within a 25-mile radius of Horsham, so Kim can continue working, and so they're not too far from their friends in Surrey. I'm meeting up with our buyers in West Sussex to find out more about their planned move.
Ben and Kim, lovely to meet you both.
Okay.
Now this is why you want to move to West Sussex, isn't it? The peace and quiet.
It is indeed, it's just amazing here, isn't it?
You've both lived in Surrey for most of your lives, so are you ready for the change?
It's going to be quite a change because we have lived in Surrey for, well, 50 years and we'll be starting again, really, it'll be a new life.
Tell us about the house that you're looking for.
Well, ideally 3 bedrooms, we're downsizing a bit. Kim would like an ensuite, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't mind about the style or the age particularly, probably not too old.
No, we don't want a project.
No.
No.
So something fairly ready to move into?
Yes.
Yes,
Be nice,
yes.
yeah.
And modern would be great, wouldn't it?
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
because I do a lot of work around the house, a lot of central heating stuff, electrics, but, you know, I'd like to put that behind me and have it all done for me, really.
Anything else that's really important for you both?
Ben would like a wood burner or be able to put one in.
Got to have a wood burner, yes. Yeah,
So if
that's
it doesn't
a
have one
passion
in, you'll
Well,
be doing that job,
I'd
wouldn't you?
I would be doing that job, that's fine, yeah, it would be good, yes. And really it does need to have broadband as well, because I'm into computers quite a bit, and I don't want to be cut off from the internet.
Most places nowadays, actually, you can check
Yeah.
with companies.
Yeah, and you can always get satellite
Yes.
put in now,
Yeah.
yes.
What are the big no-nos for you?
Neighbours is a really, really big no-no. We want to be somewhere where whatever the neighbours do, they're not going to affect us. And whatever we do, we won't affect them. We spend a lot of time in the garden, you know, sunbathing.
Gardening.
And gardening, Kim spends a lot of
Sitting
time
out there with a
gardening.
glass of wine.
Yeah, a glass of wine, got a chimney outside, wood burner indoors.
So you must have a nice garden with this
Yes.
property.
Yeah. Size doesn't matter too much because at the moment we've got a big garden and we'd like to get something smaller, but we don't mind if it's got fields around it, something like that.
Yeah, a view would be fantastic.
Or a
wouldn't it?
garden that's maybe got a little area that's more cultivated with grass and shrubs and things around that doesn't need too much work.
Remind us of your budget.
The budget is 625,000.
Okay. Now, in most parts of the country, that would be a fantastic budget, but you know how popular
We
West
do.
Sussex
Yes,
is, don't
we do
you?
know, yes.
So it might be difficult to get absolutely everything.
With its cottages and village greens, there's something of an old England feel about Sussex, and carving its way through the landscape here is another reminder of a bygone era. The Bluebell Line is the UK's first preserved standard gauge heritage steam railway, which reopened part of the old Lewes to East Grinstead track in 1960. Since then, it's developed into one of the largest tourist attractions in Sussex, mainly run by a dedicated team of volunteers. And I'm hopping on to meet one of the longest serving, Mick Blackburn.
Hi, Mick.
Hi, Sonali.
Nice to meet you.
to meet you.
So, Mick, tell us how the Bluebell Railway came about.
It was opened in 1882 and the London Brighton South Coast Railway, but it closed in 1958. And a group of students, 4 students, thought we don't want this to close. So in 1959 they formed the Bluebell Road Preservation Society, and the line reopened again in August 1960.
So really, it's here because of a group of train enthusiasts.
It was four students, train enthusiasts. Really didn't want to see it closed.
And when did you start volunteering?
I came here in 1960 when I was a schoolboy, I couldn't afford the 5 shillings to join. I was here on opening day, I helped on the station, I helped in the car park. In March 1961 I managed to find 5 shillings and I joined the railway. There was myself and 4 friends from school.
Wow.
And myself and one of the friends is still here.
And you've been coming every week since, yeah?
Well, not every week, when I can, yes.
When you can.
When I can, yeah.
It's quite a sweet name, the Bluebell.
Yeah.
Why is it called the Bluebell Railway?
It's called the Bluebell. The press really dubbed it the Bluebell Railway before it closed, because there used to be lots of bluebells, and still is, along the line side. And they used to say that trains ran so slow that you could get out and pick them and get back in again, which of course wasn't true. And that's how the Bluebell Railway got its name.
Mick has worked his way up the food chain to driving trains on the Bluebell line. The Society has 7 working steam engines and runs a daily service from March through to October. But old engines need some TLC to keep them going, and that's where the maintenance team based at Sheffield Park step in. I'm meeting engineer Andy Sabin, who's currently warming up a restored 323 engine, which was built in 1910.
So what are we going to do here?
What we're going to do, we're going to give it a warming up fire.
Okay.
This is because the engine's out tomorrow.
Okay.
We need to be kind to the boiler. So we're going to put some warmth in it, and it won't stress the boiler so much.
Just boiler maintenance, basically.
Boiler maintenance
is
good care. So the first thing, most important thing we need to do is just make sure that we've got water in the boiler.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is, if I give you this stick,
okay,
right, we need a rag, and that's covered in paraffin. You can probably smell that, can you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Lighter.
Essential tool.
Essential.
Okay.
What we're going to do is, you light the rag and you'll throw it in on the wood in there. Can you see the wood?
Yeah.
Right. There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
You see the fire in there burning? We will add coal to it now.
Okay.
When we add coal to it, the coal will burn through, and it will take a few hours. And then overnight, it will just sit there by itself. It won't create any steam. And that'll be it, ready for them in the morning.
But engines are only half the story. Old rolling stock also needs to be maintained, but more importantly, protected from the elements. The Society is hoping to raise money to put the most at-risk carriages under shelter at their depot in Horsted Canes.
Where did you get all your carriages from?
Well, various places, British Railways, people's seaside bungalows, all that sort of thing. People used to buy them, put a roof over and live in them. Yes.
Oh, wow. You've got so many here, though. How many have you got?
So many. I haven't counted for a long time. Probably 50 or 60, something like that. All awaiting restoration.
So lots of restoration.
It's a lot of restoration, a lot of work, yeah. At the moment we have an appeal out to try and get some of these carriages, at least 20 of them, undercover.
Because you don't want to do them up and then...
Well, the problem we've got, we spend lots of time, money, energy doing them all up and stand them back out in the open again. And they start to deteriorate straight away.
Well, the best of luck with the campaign.
Thank you very much.
I hope you get the money you need.
Thank you.
And thank you for showing me around today.
That's quite all right.
It's been brilliant.
Jolly good. Thank you.
The Bluebell Railway and Preservation Society has been operating this heritage line for over 50 years, and with the passion and dedication of volunteers like Mick, thankfully it seems there's a little sign of it running out of steam.
Ben and Kim were in total agreement about the Mystery House, but that hasn't necessarily been the case with all the properties. On their budget, it is unrealistic to get everything on their wish list, so which one of them is willing to make the compromise? So, Kim and Ben, what are you both going to do next?
I'd like to go and have a second look at the chalet house, have a look around the neighbourhood, see what it's like, how close the neighbours really are, get a feel for it there, because I really love that house.
What about you, Ben?
I would like to go and have a second look at the wooden house ranch, because I really like that.
What are we going to do, really? Because you both like different houses. Kim, if you want to go back and look at the chalet, Ben, would you be willing to compromise on the neighbour issue? I know that's the reason you came into this process, but it is Kim's dream home.
I could see that Kim just loved that house. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I loved that house as well. And, yeah, maybe the neighbours are not going to be a problem, but we started back in April house hunting, and the number one priority was we would not have any neighbours. So I could make that compromise, and I wouldn't mind making that compromise, but I just feel as though it's not what we really both want.
I mean, it sounded like a no, the answer to my question, would you be wanting to make a compromise? It did sound like a no.
Yes, I was like a politician, wasn't I? The answer is a no.
Is it really a no?
It is really a no.
So therefore, there's no point Kim going back for a second viewing, is there?
I suppose not really, no.
How do you feel about that, Kim?
Disappointed?
Really?
Yes. And I can't really see me living in the ranch house.
The things that you didn't like about the house, I really feel you could change.
Complex.
Unless you both really think that over time you can find something that is perfect inside for you and perfect outside for you in your budget. I mean, that's the crucial factor.
Yes. I actually do think that, you know, if we keep looking, we will find something that we both really like. I think that is the crux of the matter. We've both got to really love it.
So are you both okay about not going to see your favourite houses really again?
Yeah, you know, I think Kim's made a bigger sacrifice than I have, actually, because I think she loved that house more than I loved the wooden house.
So at least you know exactly what you're looking for. I feel I know exactly what you're looking for. It's the chalet house on the land of the ranch house, isn't
exactly,
it?
you've got it. Yes, exactly.
So you just need to go out and find that now.
Yes, yes.
Well, thank you for taking me along on your search. It's been fun.
Well,
are on the hunt for properties for two couples in one county.
And we've lined up 6 viewings that will highlight the very best that the county has to offer, but will also hopefully tempt our buyers to part with their hard-earned cash.
And our destination today is full of Eastern promise. Can you guess where it is? On today's show, I help a jet-set couple put down roots in the country.
Oh, it's just like something out of a magazine. It's beautiful.
And I'll be helping a retired couple who want to experience a new life in the countryside. And we'll be giving them houses that really touch their hearts.
That stirs me, that does it.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Today we're setting our sights on the delightful county of Suffolk in East Anglia, home to some stunning medieval properties and plenty of architectural gems to please the eye.
Yes, and as you travel around you see these incredible churches, particularly inland, built on the wealth of the wool trade. But they are not the only highlight of this timeless county.
Tucked into the far eastern corner of the country and bordered by the 3 counties of Norfolk, Cambridgeshire and Essex, Suffolk is also fringed by over 40 miles of heritage coastline, looking out across the North Sea.
During the Middle Ages, the county enriched its fortunes on the back of a thriving wool and textile industry. Evidence of that prosperity lives on today through the immaculate Tudor and medieval architecture of its wool towns.
The low-lying terrain is home to huge, far-reaching vistas, and with parts of the county less than 100 feet above sea level, Suffolk's coastline constantly fights from falling victim to the sea.
Forming the border between Suffolk and Essex is the Stour Valley, birthplace of famed British artist John Constable. In his paintings he loved to depict this special pastoral landscape, whose appeal continues to enchant many to this day. Of course, we're very busy looking at lots of rural counties, but I think Suffolk has a special place because in lots of people's imagination, they think of it as being perhaps more remote than it actually is.
Yeah, but you can still get into London, within 90 minutes, but that's sometimes just a bit too far away for some commuters, which plays into the hands of the property market. It keeps prices down. The average price for a detached house there, as you know, is 5% cheaper than the national figure, which in real money is a 12 grand saving. And
it's funny, historically you've got places like Southwold and Aldborough, which are actually quite difficult to get to, quite remote, and they're really expensive.
Yeah, but pretty as well. I mean, we centred a search around Lavenham, and it was a wool town stuck in a time warp, the most beautiful medieval property. But what people have to bear in mind, it's also popular with tourists, so get ready for people taking photos through your windows.
Yeah, a bit like living in a museum, perhaps.
Yeah, can be.
And I think if you've got a young family and you're having to commute back into London, you're probably safer looking at those towns like Stowmarket.
Yeah, but also Sudbury. I mean, it's still a pretty town, but a good direct train link into London as well.
Luckily, my couple were not looking to work. They were doing exactly the opposite. They were retiring into the countryside.
But before we do that, let's meet my couple and find out why they want to move to this remarkably beautiful county.
For nearly 40 years, the large coastal town of South Shields has been home to retired Deputy Head Marion and her husband David, who spent a long and adventurous career as a master mariner. But now their grown-up sons have left home, they too have decided it's anchors away from urban life in Tyne and Wear.
What I dream of is to live in the country where the next neighbour is quite a distance away from me, and the only sounds we hear are natural sounds. One only has to have a look at a map to see why I've chosen Suffolk, or why we've chosen Suffolk. Because if you look at the map, you'll see there's so few main roads passing through there. It's so very rural, and that sort of environment really appeals to us.
After 4 decades in their current house, are there any must-haves for their new home in the country?
Marion definitely wants a utility room, which is one thing we're lacking in this present house.
I'm quite a keen gardener, and I would like, quite a larger garden.
And all that's left is to find out their finances.
The budget for our move is between £400,000 and £500,000.
David and Marion are hoping this move will help them to stay better connected to their son in London. So we'll concentrate our house search closest to the capital in the beautiful villages surrounding Bury St Edmunds in the western portion of the county. We're all meeting up in Suffolk to finalise the specifics of this move.
Well, welcome both of you to Suffolk. Tell me, why the big move down here from the northeast?
Well, it's very rural, and we've been brought up and lived most of our lives in a suburban conurbation, and we thought it's time for a change, and this is a beautiful part of the world. I'm a bit of a local historian. I've written several books about Tyneside and whatever, and I've more or less exhausted the subject matter from my point of view. So maybe when I move here, it'll give me a new impetus in that way, discovering what Suffolk's all about. And
there's plenty to find out about.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, does your love of history transfer into maybe your desires for a new house here? I mean, does it need to be an old house?
Well, we really would like a traditional house.
It's got to be detached.
Right.
I would like to have land all round the house.
Okay.
We didn't really want a thatch.
Why is that?
Well, we just think it's like having another child. That's what we've heard. You know.
Now, do you have any differences of opinions as regards to location? Can I show you something in the middle of nowhere?
No.
No, that wasn't
we don't want to be in the middle of nowhere.
My idea is the outskirts of a village.
Right.
The village must have a pub, by the way.
It's not a village otherwise, is it? Not in my opinion. Let's start with property number 1, and then we'll go from there. All right?
That's
Then, to finish up our property tour, we've got one foot on the pulse and the other in the past with our mystery house. We're starting our search in Hundon, southwest of Bury St Edmunds. And on the outskirts of the village, we find property number 1.
Nice, very nice, yes.
Very different.
Yes, to anything we imagined, yes.
Is it?
Very, very different, anything
Very
we imagined,
different.
yes. I think we were thinking in terms of stone, brick.
That's called clapboard, is it, I believe?
Oh, your clapboard, weatherboarding.
Yes.
That's,
And this is lovely, this
I like the
garden
front
here,
garden,
and
yeah.
it's private.
You said you wanted a mature garden?
Yes.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Which is it's important, yes.
So, all in all, first impressions.
Yeah, it's possible.
Good.
Possible. But we haven't seen the inside yet. This is.
Oh, you want to look inside, do you?
I think so, yes.
Oh, that's awkward. OK, let's give it a go.
With a pedigree spanning 2 centuries, this old barn was converted into a family home about 25 years ago, and so I'm hoping it will give Marion and David the very best of vintage and modern.
Just mind your step on the way down.
Yes.
So,
Love it. Absolutely love it. Fabulous. Absolutely lovely.
Very light, isn't it?
I think we could spend a lot of time in here. I love this eating area here and sitting area. Absolutely lovely.
we do have a separate living room.
Yes.
Let's go and have a look at that. Come on.
Right.
Mind your step. I'm predicting you'll like this room as well.
Certainly. It flows. It's the same style throughout.
It's square.
It's square. Now, that was one of the things we hadn't said to you.
Oh.
That was another demand, that we really wanted a square sitting area, and this is it.
That window looks out onto the garden. Is that correct?
Next door neighbour's garden.
Next one it was
Right, OK, that's a bit of a negative, I'm afraid, especially from a next-door neighbour's point of view, too.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. It's, you know, it's, these are the compromises that we're going to have to field and then decide whether or not you can
Think
overcome
about
them or not.
it. Yes, yes.
It was all going so well, but we've hit a potential hurdle with the living room outlook. So let's go onwards and definitely upwards to the first floor, where a large mezzanine landing leads to 4 bedrooms served by 2 family bathrooms, ideal for when family or friends come to stay. 2 of the bedrooms are good-sized doubles with exposed timbers, and the smallest one is being used as a study. But we're going to check out the master bedroom.
Right. It's a good-sized room.
So you've got 4 bedrooms, which means we've got hobby rooms, we've got offices, you've got options.
Right, yes, yes. I like the size of this room, actually. It is definitely, very definitely, a double bedroom.
Let's go outside now, have another look at the garden, but also start to think about how much this house might be on the market for.
Right.
All right?
Outside, there's a matching black weatherboarded double carport adjoining a workshop, and the garden has been beautifully maintained, which lies to the front of the property, with the added benefit of facing south.
Well, you had a first glimpse of the garden when we arrived, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Now, you know that this is all that you get. I mean, all in all, apparently the plot size is about 1/4 of an acre.
I like this garden very much.
Well, you've seen that it isn't wrapped around with its own land.
Yeah.
But you've seen that it's in a lovely little village.
Yes.
With a pub just down the road.
Yep.
How much do you think this place is on the market for?
I'm guessing about £450,000.
Okay.
Well, I think I might go a little bit lower than that. How about £440,000?
Well, this place has just recently come on the market. It offers around £499,950.
So that's the top end of our budget.
It is a very nice house. We really did like the house.
Just £50 under the top budget at £499,950. Our first home is a detached barn conversion with spacious accommodation that lends itself to a kitchen breakfast room, a large square drawer.
This morning, the mystery house was probably sensible and perhaps right in the sense that, you know, we would be doing the kind of things that people should be trying to do, which is live a more green life.
Sensible, however, does come with the sort of like, well, it's sensible. Does your heart really kind of warm to the mystery house?
I thought that it was so well built, but it didn't have the view.
Okay, so what happens next? I mean, are you thinking of revisiting any of the properties?
I think we should investigate that mystery house more to see how economical it really is. So yes, we would probably go back and discover a bit more about that area, which we know absolutely nothing about.
Well, I really hope that you do proceed on one of our houses. That would be wonderful, but that you get to Suffolk very soon, because it's been a great pleasure showing you around.
Thank you
very much.
So apart from probably quite a lot of cleaning windows with that mystery house, well, it actually earns you money. I mean, what's not to love?
Well, it's interesting, the whole thing about love and houses, isn't it? Because I think Mike said it. He said, you know, that would be the sensible choice, because on paper it all makes perfect sense, but I don't think his heart was taken.
And you know what? When people go down the sensible road, they're often haunted by the one that got away, the house that really captured their heart and imagination. So I suppose really it comes down to balancing the head versus heart, doesn't it?
But Suffolk is a good place to do that, because it's good value, which pleases the head, and there's such an amazing array of architectural styles, that beautiful rural countryside, big houses, small houses, old houses. It's got to be something for your heart there.
I see why people want to go and live there, can't you? So that brings us to a close, and hopefully you'll join us next time on Escape to the Country.
Marion and David continued looking for their dream home, which they eventually found very near to our second property, and they've already settled in.
And Jenny and Mike are now looking for a house not far from Essex to be close to their family.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, or even further afield to the continent and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.
trôi qua nỗi buồn còn lại đó chậm chậm dường như con nước trở về. Biết bao nhiêu chuyện lạ bước lê thế, bỗng chợt thấy đam mê không còn nữa. Ước vọng mãi chỉ mang thêm buồn thui thôi. Ngày như đêm lùi thủi gót chân hoang. Những đời qua toàn cảnh thấy điêu tàn. Người phụ giấy kê quàng vai áo hồng. Nếu đã biết tưởng tình luôn lận đận, sao còn yêu còn cố chấp đau thương. Để đêm chờ mắt suốt canh trường, nhìn quanh quẩn ngàn phương tràn bóng tối. Đời trôi qua nỗi buồn còn lại đó chậm chậm dường như con nước trở về. Biết bao nhiêu chuyện lạ bước lê thế, bỗng chợt thấy đam mê không còn nữa. Ước vọng mãi chỉ mang thêm buồn thui thôi. Ngày như đêm lùi thủi gót chân hoang. Những đời qua toàn cảnh thấy điêu tàn. Người phụ giấy kê quàng vai áo hồng. Nếu đã biết tưởng tình luôn lận đận, sao còn yêu còn cố chấp đau thương. Để đêm chờ mắt suốt canh trường,